anger management and rage and feelings like that, where when you're in that place and you feel so, I can't believe this guy tried to hurt me, you can just unload and you can just feel justified in doing that. But it's so important to understand not just the physical ability to restrain, but the mental and emotional ability to restrain.
Today we're joined by Dan, a therapist at Modern Therapy, and his martial arts instructor, Sensei John, to explore how martial arts can boost mental health. Dan shares how training helped him build confidence, while John offers his perspective on teaching discipline, resilience, and self-awareness. We'll talk about the parallels between therapy and the dojo, the role of a good instructor, and practical tips for anyone curious about starting their martial arts journey.
So understand that it's a process and everyone goes at their own pace. You're an individual and you just got to be the best version of yourself, and that is a big part of the journey, I feel, as well.
Helplessness is a myth. You really can't feel or be helpless because you can always just try. You can always change the way you self-talk.
Super excited to be here today. Today we're going to be talking about mental health and martial arts. At the surface, maybe two seemingly unrelated things, but they have more in common than I think a lot of people think. So we have Dan here, who's one of the therapists at Modern Therapy, and his sensei, and we're going to be talking about the intersection between mental health and martial arts. So let's jump in. Do you guys want to start off by introducing yourself?
I'm Dan, as you said, one of the therapists at Modern Therapy, and I've been doing martial arts in this committed capacity for going on three and a half years, but have been a lifelong fan and student and trainer and just someone who's loved it. And not until really recently had I really started to think about the intersection of the two. And the more I thought about it, the more it's definitely true. So I'm looking forward to talking about it today.
And I'm Sensei John. I am Dan's teacher. I've been doing martial arts for about 20 years now. It has been a long ride and a wonderful ride. I wouldn't change it for anything. Thank you again for having me.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so I was asking Dan, do other people call you sensei or just the people who are training under you? How does that work?
So typically, it depends, right? So if people know me in the martial arts world, typically, if I have taught or if I have just been around, typically it's sensei. Very few people ever call me by my first name in my dojo, maybe my coworker, and that's about it.
Got it. Okay, so we will call you sensei because now we know.
Appreciate it. No, thank you.
So let's break down some of these terms just to get started for people who have no idea anything about martial arts, sensei, dojo, all the different things. Can you guys break down some of those?
Sure. Do you want me to take lead on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So sensei means teacher, essentially. There's also senpai, which means either lead student or assistant instructor. Dojo is the floor or the building that we use, the space that we use to train in. Any other terms that you wanted to go over?
Maybe just like the little ones. Like obviously MMA, we know is mixed martial arts.
There's a lot of different styles of martial arts. So,
all the different, acronyms.
What types of styles are you guys trained in specifically? And maybe let's talk through some of the different styles.
Got you.
So it is interesting because I started off in the style called Kyokushin karate, which is notably different in a lot of ways. There's a lot of brands of karate, but Kyokushin is really heavy into sparring and conditioning and stuff like that. But what we do together is, I would think, more akin to MMA. But you can elaborate on that.
So my background is primarily Shotokan karate. I've done that for a majority of my life. I also have a background, few years in capoeira, which is more of a dancing style, very acrobatic. The way it was used is that Portuguese people weren't allowed to practice training, so they would disguise it through dance. So it was very cool to get an idea of that and see what moves are hidden. I also have a few years in Krav Maga, which is what I teach with Dan, kickboxing, just the combinations, a little bit of Taekwondo with some of our kicks, and that's about it. So when it comes to Krav Maga, that's the Israeli self-defense. There are two versions. There's the civilian and the military. We do the civilian version.
Oh, okay.
Right? If you guys are aware, and I think my knowledge is correct, everyone who lives in Israel must join the army, so everyone learns that style. It's a very simple way and very repetitive way to learn how to protect yourself, whether it's a grappling sort of maneuver or on the ground, things like that. With the kickboxing, I kind of take elements from my own style, so the way that we punch and kick and rotate our body, because it's worked so well for me, so I want to show it to these guys as well. And same thing with our kicks. I say Taekwondo because of the combinations and the type of kicks, but again, I like to think more practically. I know Taekwondo can sometimes be a flashier style, but as cool as doing a triple back flip, side kick, ground kick, whatever it is, I like to make sure these guys are dangerous and are able to protect themselves. That's my main thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So cool. Brandon did MMA for a little bit. You did Krav Maga, right?
Ishinru.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So practiced Ishinru for 8 years. Ooh. Got up to the brown belt and then
It's all good.
Almost made it.
Listen, I think only 1% of people make it to the black belt.
I have a theory. I feel like maybe I was ready for the black belt, but my sensei wanted to keep me in karate, so there were only a few students left. So it was maybe financially incentivized, but
understood. understood. That does happen a lot. A lot of people, when they get the black belt, they think they're done.
Yeah.
I loved what my sensei said when I got mine. He hugged me and he pulled me and he put it on me. He said, "Now your training really begins," right? I was like, "Oh no."
Yeah, there are lots of degrees to go, right? Once you get your black belt. I think and martial arts is really, for a lot of people, a lifestyle.
Yes.
There's a thing that I heard once, and I completely believe it, and that a black belt isn't something you earn, it's something you become. So then it's not like a stage that you got to. It's like your best is getting better, and that becomes like your life, something definitional about your life that you've gotten to because you got to black belt.
Yeah, I'd love to explore that a little bit. Like, what do you think goes into that?
He is the black belt. So maybe you can weigh in first.
So just repeat the questions. I'm sorry. Getting the black belt.
Yeah,
what does it
so
take?
Dan was talking about getting a black belt is something that you become. What aspects of character building, things like that, go into earning the right to be a black belt?
Understood. A few things come to mind immediately. One is dedication. Like we've briefly talked about, a lot of people tend to taper out or go on to other things over time. So dedication, definitely. Consistency as well. Martial arts is a very repetitive art, making sure that you get it down. You can't just take one move and practice it once or maybe one time and then hope you get it right. It takes many years. As Bruce Lee said, I've said this to him before, I fear not the man that knows 1,000 kicks. I fear the man that practices one kick 1,000 times. Another thing is it's a mind game as well. So you have to make sure you're mentally prepared. Understanding that the training that we do is very difficult. All right. Now, it's not just taxing on the body. It is on the mind as well. So if you can overcome mentally, the physical should follow. And that's what it's done for me. And over time, I think a sense of humor, believe it or not, is required as a black belt as well. Yeah. Understanding that what we do can be dangerous or painful, put a smile on and you love it.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. It's funny because all the things that you're talking about are really not so much physical, but more mental.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very much, yeah.
Yes.
And like I was saying, the more I was thinking about these topics, the more I was like, they're almost the same thing to me. Because it's overcoming adversity, understanding your boundaries, knowing what your goal is, committing to your goal in the face of difficulty, adversity, and the things that you didn't think you could do. I do that with my clients constantly. It's just not always just with the body or with physical boundaries. It's with the emotional boundaries. And even that is in there.
Yes.
Just the anxiety. We've had folks in the class and myself even at times where your self-talk is so important. That's what you're saying. Like if you are telling yourself, I can't do this, is too much, this is too hard, I'm scared to get hurt, I'm scared to, versus if you tell yourself, I've done this, I can do this is important to me, I'm stronger than I think, and this is just today, tomorrow will, like these types of self-talk, it gets me through plenty of hard classes. We've coached other people to try to use that same way to get through hard tasks and belt tests. And again, it just mirrored perfectly like what I talk to my clients about all the time. It's so important.
Yeah, exactly. Are you noticing a big difference when, let's say you're about to do something and you say, I can't do this, I'm nervous. Do you feel your body actually tensing and that you actually can't do it? Or can you kind of push past those thoughts when it's happening?
Yeah, like it gets heavier if you're thinking that way. And if you literally keep your head up, like even some of the skills that we talk about from DBT, where you just have that half smile and things like that. If you just use your body and your face to keep your head up, keep your eyes up, smile, tell yourself that there's good things in the next part and everything like that, then it gets lighter. That heaviness just gets lighter. And it's an amazing phenomenon that I just like that I personally am feeling it being reinforced because I am coaching it in my sessions, that it's almost a night and day difference. And it's nice. It cements the validity of the strategies that I use, but I also practice what I preach, and I'm happy to say so.
Yeah, exactly.
I could just picture like a class, Sensei John's over here drilling, and then Dan's on the sidelines just therapizing the student.
It has happened. It has.
That's a good combo.
Yes.
Because people come up to me, and since I'm one of the higher belt ranks, like I coach folks on the side, some of the lower belts, and I'm coaching them through techniques and how to get through hard times. And sometimes they're like, "You're so much nicer than Sensei John." I'm like, I'm a therapist, I know, but sometimes it is the combination that works.
That is amazing. I love that so much. So how do you coach people on the mental thing? Because they probably come in and think that this is just all going to be 100% physical. When do you add that mental piece in?
So the way that I usually start out is when first people start, I'm much nicer, and Dan knows this. When people first start, because the thing is you have to ease your way into it.
Gotta lure them in first.
Exactly. Yeah, lure them in, sure, right? But no, when we first start, obviously I'm not expecting someone to be at the same level as someone that Dan's at, someone
Yeah.
that's been with me for years. So you work your way up. Once I understand where someone's at up here, I can work their way up through the body.
Interesting.
So as an example, I have some new students, okay, and they were looking for fitness. And I'm like, oh, you're going to get that. Don't worry. And I would always just talk to them and be nice and say things like, okay, how you feeling? You feeling okay? Good. All right. If at any point you need a second to breathe, go ahead. And as time goes on and I see what they're capable of, I then try to see, can you do this? Okay, great. Now, can you do this? And I've had people say, no, it's too hard. I'm like, who said that? You did. I think you can. Give it a shot. All right. And then usually they overcome it. If they don't, I say, okay, you didn't get it this time. So what? We can try again. That's what this is all about. We train to improve. I don't expect perfection, but I expect your best. Not my best, your best. So that's how I start off. Once we reach a certain level and we have beginning ranks and then we move up. Once we get past that beginner rank, which in our school is an orange belt, once we get past that, as example for my adults, they're allowed to take water breaks when they're below that level. As soon as you get past that, I'm like, suffer. Work up to it. My sensei was always big on endurance, so we would try to work on that unless there's a medical issue. Yeah.
So is orange, is that the third belt? It's like white,
Yeah.
yellow, orange?
Yep. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Very good.
got
Nice.
it.
After
Okay,
that, it's
cool.
purple, and yeah, you're time to move up.
Yeah,
So,
no big deal, but I was a yellow belt when I was younger, so don't be intimidated or anything. But
Okay, okay. What style? You remember?
no, it was like 5. I was one of those people who like did it as a child and then never again. But I think it's so cool. I would love to do karate again someday.
You know what? It
We're in
is
Denville.
interesting.
There
Yeah.
you go.
But you could speak to this perhaps, but the difference between teaching the kids versus the adults.
Yeah, let's talk about
Approach.
that.
Yeah.
So I will say I find, because I'm a kid at heart, I do find that teaching children can be a bit easier at times, and here's why. They're more accepting of the training because, again, when they see someone in the uniform and with a black belt on, they immediately think, superhero. All right, that tends to be the mindset, right? And sometimes I might get some pushback a little bit, but I make it clear that, okay, no, this is not what we're going to do. A lot of discipline I teach. And as soon as they understand that I want to make them better, I want to help them improve, whether it's confidence. With kids, it's a lot of confidence typically, as well as the physical, right? Once they realize that they can do certain things and overcome certain obstacles, they tend to be a lot more accepting of my teaching and understand why I'm tough. In the beginning, again, that's why I tend to be a little bit lighter in the first place. But once they see why I amp it up a bit, they understand why. As an example, protecting yourself is such a stressful situation. That's why I tell my students, that's why I'm loud and I can sometimes raise my voice a little bit. It's not to be mean to you guys. Understand that if you're ever put in that situation, God forbid, and you have to use what I teach you, I want you to be able to stay calm in the chaos. Okay. So that's why I do what I do. And I'm like, okay, let's move. Let's go, 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 go. And it's just so high intensity sometimes with those kids, especially. And with the adults, that's a much longer process. I feel not super long. It depends on the individual. I will say Dan took to it pretty quickly, but sometimes it's a gradual slope. Like one of my students who was training yesterday, he hit a wall at some point during some of the drills, and he had to take a breath. I'm like, okay, you take that breath, you come back, okay? And I had to tell him, like, listen, you're stuck up here right now, okay? Right now you're doubting yourself. You're afraid you're going to make a mistake. Forget about that, okay? Remember, I believe in you, so believe in yourself. Don't doubt yourself, okay? And he took it in stride, he passed, and he did very well. So, yeah, it's just that confidence is a big thing for adults, I feel.
Yeah, it's almost like with kids, they don't have, not like baggage, I don't want to use that word, but like baggage. Like you have an adult who comes in with the first thing I thought was like, oh, someone who has a lot of trauma. They might hear loud voices, the yelling, the noises, and that might really freak them out, and their body might have a physical response. So I think learning how to undo that in a safe setting, that's probably incredibly therapeutic for people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And kids don't really have that. They're just like, whatever, it's a loud noise.
Ooh, cool kick.
They're just happy to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I did Kyokushin, it was my teenage years, and I got to just before brown belt.
Yeah.
And the anxiety got to me when I was that young.
Wow.
My anxiety got, because again, it was a very, very disciplined and very physically demanding type of martial art, and I was proud of myself because I got to a point where I was sparring against kids who were like 2-3 years older than me and bigger than me, and I was like, that is a vote of confidence from my sensei, but I was like, every time I felt it in my whole body, like I was so anxious and avoidant. So that's why I ended up stopping back then, but I didn't know that's how I was reading it. I thought these feelings meant I didn't love it anymore, but I did. And I learned that later, and that's what kind of kept me going and wanting to come back in and just face all those anxieties again. And I still do get them sometimes. Sometimes when sensei is nice enough to give me a good old shin kick to the leg, and I have to check it with my shin, so it's shin to shin.
Ouch.
And the conditioning is important. But my brain would be like, yes, I'm here for this. Let's do this. This is my goal. I want to achieve this. And my body was like, nope.
Yeah.
No, you're going to panic right now. You're going to lose all the blood from your face. You're going to get heartbeat going crazy. You're going to start to get lightheaded and all these things. And I was like, my body thought there was a broken bone or something. It started to panic. And early on, I had to go in the bathroom. I had to wash cold water on my face. Like a lot of the skills we teach for folks who are having a spike in panic.
Right.
To use just like tip skills and sensory skills to just soothe. So I would have to do that every time we went through something that was physically painful and difficult.
Yeah.
Specifically. But the idea of I know what my values are here. My values are to come across this and continue and be and proceed and be successful. And over these years, that has happened much fewer times. It hasn't happened in a long time. Yeah. And even when it does happen and I get hurt, I'm like, I'm still here. I'm toe to toe. Let's keep going. And that gives you this level of confidence that I think is unique to martial arts. There's a lot of confidence you can get in a lot of ways, but to be able to go through what your brain and body believe to be worst case scenario.
Yeah.
I am getting hurt. I am getting attacked. There's something evil, bad, threatening happening to me. And I know what to do. I'm trained. I'm skilled. I'm toe to toe. I'm confident. I know what to do. Like I can read the situation. That is a special brand of confidence that I'm starting to really appreciate about the whole process that I've committed back to. But at the same time, I'm like, that's one of the reasons why I think of it for some clients where I'm like, this is a fantastic version of confidence that I think could help a lot of people with a variety of different challenges with their moods and thoughts and things like that.
Yeah, that's huge because you would think if you were in any other setting and someone was coming up and kicking you in the shin, you would probably panic a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you probably now would probably fight them back, but maybe you'd panic and run away, and that could be a totally appropriate response to that.
The funny thing is that we train it so our blocks are punches.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So if we train our bodies so when they kick me in the shin, they get hurt.
Every block is a strike, right?
I've heard that so many times.
Yeah.
That's the old
He
way.
teaches
That's
that to our daughter.
Fantastic.
Getting her ready early.
Yeah, she's 3.
Three. Fantastic. So
That's
young,
good.
But you could probably speak a little bit to that of having to push through mental blocks because you were young when you did it, and that is a vulnerable time.
Yeah. I love what Dan said, that it's only 6 years of education and thousands of hours of therapy training. He realized that his anxiety was what was keeping him from continuing. And just like Dan, I stopped right before the black belt too. And I haven't done a whole lot of reflection as to why, but I do think that there's something really powerful about pushing yourself to the breaking point, right? And it's a transformative process that takes place when you get to the point where you want to give up or you're in pain, and you have to dig deep and tell yourself, keep going, I can do this. And that, I think that's positive self-talk, training that muscle, because it is a muscle.
Oh, yeah.
Is really important.
Yeah, it reminds me so much of therapy when you're saying that, because people who are in therapy, a lot of times they don't know there's so much that they're coming in for, but they think they're coming in for one specific thing. And then they start, and all these things start unraveling, and it gets really overwhelming, and they're flooded with all these thoughts and emotions that they didn't even know were there. And they might want to give up and not come back to therapy, but it's like you push through that and you start actually feeling better and you start feeling confident. And it's like you said, all of a sudden the panic is a little bit less and a little bit less. So it's there's so many parallels between what you guys are explaining and therapy.
So much. The more I thought about it, the more it was true.
Yeah. And that's so cool.
I'm curious, Dan, actually, when you started training with me, what was it that clicked with you that made that realization? Was it a certain moment, or what was it for you?
The panic with the kicks?
Yeah, is that what you realized what it was?
After the first few times, I was like, this is straight up panic. This is a bodily
Yeah.
induced panic attack. I'm like, that is so weird because my brain was here. My brain was present. It was like, I know what we're doing. I know why we're doing it. I want to do it. But my body was just like, no, you're getting weak-legged. You're going to topple over if you're not careful. And I was like, this is what some of my clients have described and other people. And it's an interesting sensation because it's a complete separation between your brain and your body and what they're doing. But it was like a few times in, and I was like, this is in fact a bodily induced panic attack. This wasn't weakness. This wasn't something you did wrong or I did wrong. It was just like, this is just my body that was just not prepared for this. So I'm like, you know what? My goals include my body being prepared for this. So I had to go through it and coach myself through it.
I remember I would go lighter with you a little bit and hold it up, and that's what really helped you a bit with that.
Absolutely. Because I learned what the goal was. And so I had to build up to it. So I appreciate that education.
But what's interesting is that it's like a panic attack, but almost reversed. Because I feel like a panic attack is like your mind telling you that you're in danger, but you're not in danger. Most of the time, it's like you're perceiving that you're in danger and you have to calm your body down because your body's then having a physical reaction. But for you, it's I'm getting attacked. This is physical. This should be dangerous. But I should be telling my mind that it's not dangerous because I'm prepared to fight it. So it's interesting how it's like it was a panic attack, but almost flapped on its head in an interesting way.
Yeah, because the body's right.
You were in danger, yeah.
That wasn't phantom pain. It was real pain.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the idea of being like, you want to go through something like that and know that you've gone through it before, you can go through it again. And if the worst should happen in the real world, that this isn't going to be an issue.
Yeah.
The worst thing would be like, if I got hit and all of a sudden that panic came back when my life was on the line. That's when I would be like, uh-oh. Yeah. So now I have a friend who was in the military, and he told me something that stuck with me and still sticks with me, that nobody ever rises to the occasion. You always fall back on your training. Always. So I was like, okay, I need to train this then. I need to train my body, train my legs, train my brain to be prepared, because in the moment I'm not going to rise to the occasion. I am going to fall back on my training, and if my training is what it's been doing so far, I should be fine. And that, like I said, that confidence is significant.
Yeah. Is that why they say do it 1,000 times? Because is the muscle memory thing true, that you will just remember how to do it?
Absolutely. Honestly, for me, if you train something well enough, your body takes over. It's not even a mental thing anymore. Your body can just do it on its own.
So fascinating. You want to tell them about the time you broke my glasses off my face? Speaking of muscle memory.
What's the context of this moment here?
So back in our old apartment, he likes to do jump scares to me all the time because I'm like the what do you call it? I'm very jumpy, I guess.
You're
very jumpy. Yeah. So he likes to jump scare me all the time. And so one time I did it to him, like forgetting that he's trained, and he just, I don't know if you hit me or you like reacted to it, me jumping behind you because you didn't know I was there.
I pulled it.
You pulled it, but a little too late, and my glasses like literally just fell off my face.
No, the muscle memory thing is very true. If you're just, I remember so many classes, pretty much for the whole class, we'd just be practicing one block strike combo or something. It just over and over again, the sensei would be performing the moves, and you get to a point where if you're in a competition or you're sparring, it's automatic.
And he would tell me, don't ever scare me. I'm just telling you, don't scare. And I'm like, that's so funny. And then I'm like, okay, I'm never going to scare him again.
As I say, one time I was walking and I had my earphones in, and somebody just came running next to me. I was in my own little world. It came running next to me, and instantly I went,
yeah.
Like hands came up instantly,
Yeah.
and I was about to chamber a kick. I didn't even think about it. I was half an inch off the ground. I was like, okay.
Well, good thing you didn't do that.
It was gone already. I was like, that was stupid, but that was also good. I was
Yeah.
like, I didn't even think about it. My hands came up just like we trained 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I know I'm
incredible.
going yes like this is not because he almost attacked an innocent person. It's because the body reacted immediately and he was ready to go. That's my goal for my students.
Yeah.
Because you practice in a clinical setting, right? Like you're practicing in the dojo, and you're spending so much time preparing for if something were to happen in real life. But let's be honest, like most of us who are practicing karate are not just like out in the street getting attacked. There is that part of you that thinks like, will this work if the time comes?
Yeah, how I'll actually react. Maybe that needs to be the next level of your training. You have to dress up in all black and attack Dan from behind when he's on his next run.
We do that. Instead of wearing all black, I close my eyes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So the way it works is we'll set up, it could be a group of people or just set up partners where people will close their eyes and they'll be attacked in a certain manner. As an example, let's do a carotid, rear naked choke, where he'll shut his eyes, and as soon as he feels that choke, as soon as he feels it, he has to make sure he reacts and takes the person down.
You don't know when they're coming?
Or from what angle. Or what, sometimes they'll hit you first.
Well,
and then
hey,
do
no
it.
wonder why you're panicking. I'd be panicking too, obviously. That's terrifying.
Absolutely no, and I love watching when someone does it for the first time. Immediately, you see like they're squirming a bit, like I don't know where they are, what's happening.
Oh my
And then as soon as it happens, boom. But once you overcome that fear, okay, I understand this is what's going to happen. This is my training. As soon as I see it happen or feel it happen, I have to just turn and react. And a lot of my students take that in stride. So
It's incredible. Your
important
students
part.
ever hurt you?
I want them to try to. Let me explain. So I don't want them to physically attack me, but sometimes, and Dan knows this, I will use my body as like a bag or like a wave master, right? So I'm like, here, let me see a round kick right here, all right, or a roundhouse kick. And they'll kick. I'm like, you got more than that. Come on, more. And are you sure? I'm like, I wouldn't be asking if I didn't want. And
That's
then
the
he'll give it
therapist
to
in
me.
me conflicting with the
Yeah.
martial artist in me. I'm
Right.
like, I'm not going to kick you with
Right.
everything I have.
Have you actually kicked me there? Have you? You've come pretty close. Like,
I've
no?
gone close. I haven't done
It's
everything.
okay. Do it right now.
I can't. I don't know. I might
It's
eventually.
okay. It's
Wait, are
okay.
you like wearing padding?
No.
No.
You're just literally kicking him?
That's
Again-
the thing. I'm like, it doesn't make sense, but it does at the same time. But honestly, he's yet to be broken. So
Do you guys go home bruised?
No, not anymore.
I do. I do. I still do. But they're there for a reason, and they go away.
All right.
Body conditioning is a powerful thing. We were watching a show the other night of a
Yeah.
he was a master.
He was from Japan.
He was from Japan, and he broke a coconut with his bare hands.
And
You
he-
know,
He bent an aluminum bat with his hand.
Wow.
With his
And
hands.
if you hit something,
And his knuckles didn't look like human
Oh,
knuckles.
his hands were
They were like,
completely
it looked like he didn't
calloused,
have
right? Yeah,
knuckles.
That's a life decision
yeah.
right there.
that's a life decision.
Yeah.
Can't reverse that.
No, no,
I
no,
know. You can break those things, but you can't open the pickle bottle. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. But the reason why I have them do that, it's not just helping them overcome that fear of understand that if you have to protect yourself, you have to get over that fear of hurting somebody else. It also helps me because I like to be able to make sure that I keep my body in check. I don't want to be a teacher that can't back up practice what he preaches. So I want to
Yeah.
make sure I can take those hits and keep on going, that sort of thing. So that's the other reason. It's not just for them; it is for me a little bit too.
Yeah.
This job does a lot for me, for my mental health, for my physical capabilities. Although I get something out of it as well. And I always say, as a joke, kind of a joke, if anyone breaks my ribs, I'll be proud of you. Okay. Yeah.
Do you ever accidentally hurt your students?
Let me think. I don't think I have. No. If it ever does happen, it's never anything serious. I remember one time we were doing a body cover with some of my kids, and this one student, he reacted going up instead of down. So I got him here, and I was using a pad. I wasn't using my fist or anything like that. But I heard the, I'm like, ooh, okay. So understand, you got to come down, right? Now, you okay? Yes, sir. And okay, so we understand that we're blocking here, okay? Now, I know you're used to this, but remember, you're still in control of your body. You still got to train to be able to come down here. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
He did it again. He was fine.
He'll remember.
Quick education.
Quick
yeah.
education.
Very fast way to learn. And I don't like teaching that way all the time unless I feel it's absolutely necessary. And I try to not use it ever unless it's like conditioning.
Yeah.
That's so relatable to everyday life. If we make a mistake and there's a severe or a heavy consequence to it, you're going to think twice or make an adjustment next time
Yeah.
you're in that scenario.
Yeah.
Natural consequence.
But with
yeah.
mental health, obviously, that becomes a pathology where, despite the consequences, because the anxiety or the depression or something is so severe,
Yeah.
it becomes just a pattern. And it's an interesting thing because you start to realize that in martial arts, that's never going to work. It's never going to get you
Yeah.
to progress. It's never going to get you to learn. And it's black and white when you're in the dojo and when you're in the studio and you're working on it. Again, it's an amazing lesson and something that folks could definitely practice. They don't have to go all the way to black belt or anything like that, but
Yeah.
and it doesn't even have to be martial arts either. It could be anything that tests that aspect of your experience.
Yes.
But it is very common when I know you're saying like everyday life, it's common sense. A lot of people we talk to
Yeah.
because it's hidden underneath all those strong feelings, but it's
Yeah.
still true. It's like, if you can just recognize the consequences and understand what your values are on the other side of those consequences, you can get to them if you just learn and commit.
Kind of to piggyback
Yeah.
off of that, a specific thing that people are always afraid of, I feel, in martial arts, is taking a hit to the face. This is everything that
Yeah.
we try to protect. Body shot, okay, we can take those, but getting hit in the face is something that I feel everybody is more afraid of. All right?
You can't
So-
prepare for that unless it happens to you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. So the thing is, I've seen it happen with some of my kids, right? And the thing is, we have big boxing gloves on, we got our helmets on, and mouthpieces to protect themselves. But still, even when it doesn't hurt that bad, getting that hit there, it's so jarring sometimes. And usually when it happens the first time to a student, I remember this happened to somebody that came to me recently, and it was a good hit. And I said, okay, hang on, freeze. All right, take a second to breathe. All right, breathe. You understand you're safe. You understand you're in training. You're in your dojo. This is what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, very good. Now, did it hurt? Yes, sir. Okay. Does it still hurt? A little bit. Is it starting to go away? Yes. Okay. Did it hurt because it was a hard hit, or does it hurt right now because you're afraid? I'm afraid. Okay. So you understand that can happen sometimes, right? Yes. Okay. So now that we understand that, we try to protect ourselves better. Now it might happen again. Understand it might happen again. Okay. In the real world, it might most definitely will happen again, right? If you ever have to protect yourself. But now you can understand how it feels. You understand that if it happens to you, you do something about it. And it's just overcoming that fear. And once they do, usually, again, boom, they'll take that hit and then they keep on going. And I've seen that happen in a lot of my teens especially. Yeah.
And then you get to our point where when you get hit in the face and you're like, woohoo!
Yeah,
It's invigorating.
I remember one time he gave me a great kick to the head. Now I don't wear a helmet, okay?
Oh my
But he gave me a great kick.
I
to
don't
the
like
head.
that he doesn't wear a helmet.
I know, but I didn't. And the thing is, he gave me a solid kick right here. He did a fake out, came up, and I was like, yes. He's, oh my god! I'm like, no, that was a great
Like
kick.
that's when the
Good
body
job.
tenses.
Good job. And everyone's like, oh my god, oh my god. I'm like, no, that's what I want you to do. Understand? I've taken hits to the head. It's okay. I'm still here. Kind of. So it's
You know,
Got him right in the side with the ear, and everything was like slap, and I
it
was
was
like,
beautiful.
There-
You heard the through the whole.
there is
floor.
something super satisfying about kicking somebody in the head.
But I'm the one that always tortures you. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure.
yeah. Though you never, again, another thing you learn, that hurts you. Like when you kick somebody's skull,
Yeah.
it hurts.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm like, if you're in the real world and you do it, you have to be prepared for the fact that your foot's gonna hurt. Hopefully you nail them and that's it, but your foot's gonna hurt too, and you got to be prepared for that. And it's
Yeah.
interesting. That taught me something too.
Yes.
Your
punching.
head is hard.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yes, sir. No, but yeah, no,
gosh.
striking is very painful too, which is why we condition. Now, I've done it for a long time. I got decent sized knuckles, but still, I could do more. So I can always
Yeah.
do more.
What role does constraint or restraint play in martial arts?
100%. Yeah.
100%. That's very good. So a lot of times, let's use the kids as an example again, right? So they know that they can punch and kick and stuff like that. I want them to remember though that it's training, and it's not just helping yourself. You are helping your classmates. So if you are in a situation where, let's say, I have a higher rank versus a much lower rank, right? They know that I want them to have a teaching moment here to give them a chance to teach somebody else what I've taught them. All right. So if they pull back a little bit and help them get that move down or evade that or get that block in, that's what I'm looking for. I don't want someone to just take advantage of that situation, just boom, 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 and I'll tell them, hey, you do that again, you got to fight me, and and again, it's just a way to make them understand it really. They're like, oh, okay, right, okay, I got to do this. I got to make sure I pull it back. I'm here to help them. So it is a team in a sense. I always say that we are a team, and it's just gotten them closer together as a class and just improve their skills all around, which I personally love.
I was going to add on to that a little bit.
Yeah.
There was actually we also have somebody who works there, Coach Joel.
Yes.
Who very much Krav Maga, very wise,
Yes.
very good with a lot of this content as well. I was sparring him one time, and he went to kind of do a
Slip?
Slip. Thank you. He was going to do a slip at the same time I was going to do a lead kick, and if we did that, my shin would have been buried into his eyes. Like it would have been so bad. But I saw it coming, and I pulled the leg back at the last second, and I was
Wow.
like, that is why it's so important. You don't want to hurt anybody while you're training, but from the self-defense perspective as well. In so many states, the law is proportional force. You have to use proportional force to stop the threat. And when the
Yes.
threat is stopped, you stop. You have to know what that is. So it goes right into anger management and rage and feelings like that, where when you're in that place and you feel so, I can't believe this guy tried to hurt me, you can just unload and you can just feel justified in doing that. But it's
Yeah.
so important to understand not just the physical ability to restrain, but the mental and emotional ability to restrain, because A, you can get yourself into a whole bunch of legal trouble. B, you're going to violate who you are as a person, your morals and ethics. C, it's just, it's good training for the whole discipline to respect the martial art itself. Like, you're not going to abuse the martial art and hurt someone else. You're going to, buy into the martial art as being this idea that fighting in the end of the day is stupid. The more you learn about it, the more you do it, the more you realize it's stupid. If this
Yeah.
ever happens in real life, like somebody can get hurt, they don't need to. Nobody's got anything to prove, like it doesn't have to. But if it does have to, you want the stupidity to last as short time as possible. So you stop them, you're safe, everybody gets to go home. They get maybe to the hospital first, but they get to go home, and that's the end of the day. But if you let the emotion take over, it's going to just get worse and worse for everybody, including you.
Yeah, that goes back to not being completely in your head. Because if you're in your head and you're thinking all these other things, you can't be logical or in the moment and thinking, okay, I need to pull that kick back, or I need to be respectful of the craft or anything, because you're going to be just thinking about all these other things. So that's such a discipline to be like, you have to be so focused, so dialed in on what you're doing.
Situational awareness, that's a big thing for Krav
Yeah.
Maga. So yeah, understanding the whatever situation, and if you're dealing with, as an example, somebody that's under the influence of something, like say, had a little too much to drink, you're not trying to send this guy in a body bag or anything like that. You just want to make sure you keep your distance. Now, of course, if someone's really trying to attack you, let's say with a weapon or something like that's a different situation. So you have to make sure that whatever's going on, you have to react accordingly. All right, that's what I tell my kids as well. If it's at school, the process that I tell them is, again, kind of discipline. If someone is messing with you and getting physical with you, first you tell them to stop and you tell the teacher. If that doesn't work, then you go to the principal. If that still doesn't work, you get your parents to come to the school and then they talk. Okay, and if that still doesn't work, you have my permission to protect yourself, but understand there are certain limitations I want you to have so that way you don't get in any serious trouble. Now, you did the right thing. You didn't just start attacking or you didn't just protect yourself right away, because we understand that can cause all kinds of problems for that person, even if they tried to protect themselves. So it's making sure you have the patience and understanding that you have to handle this in a certain manner. That way, this only benefits you. If you show the patience and the kindness to hold off, that only adds and shows your character, I feel.
Yeah, and in a way, it just goes to show that core part of character development in martial arts is really almost as important as the self-defense piece, because one of the key principles of martial arts is avoid a fight whenever you can.
Yes. I tell them, I hope you never have to use what I teach you.
Yeah.
That's
It's so
very
funny.
real.
You think it's like people get into martial arts and they think, oh, I'm going to get good at fighting and stuff like that. But once you learn how to do it and you know what it feels like and looks like to be in a position like that, you're like, this should never really happen in the real world, in life. Like, people are just trying to go grocery store, they're trying to get gas, they're just trying to be with their friends. Like, this stuff really should never happen. But if it does, and you are used to seeing someone try to hurt you, someone try to attack you, and your brain is already assessing, okay, I can do this, I can stop him this way, I can stop him that way. Like you said, it gets back to just the training. It just goes back to just being in, knowing what to do. I've been here 100 times, 1,000 times. I can stop this person without it going overboard, and that it does put a little bit of a stop to the emotional dysregulation, because again, you fall back to the training, and so the emotions are a little less out of it. You're less reactive. You're more just assessing something you're familiar with, and it's sad and it's unfortunate, but again, it's an interesting shift from I'm training how to fight, but at the same time I'm training to understand what fighting is and where it belongs and really where it doesn't.
Are you guys seeing a lot of kids coming in who are getting bullied? Do parents use that as a resource?
So-
Not to fight the other kids, but just for that confidence piece.
So it's a mixed bag when it comes to kids, right? Sometimes, I always wanted to do this. But for those that are coming because they're being bullied, typically whenever you're dealing with a bully, what they lack is confidence more than anything else, right? So back to what we talked about there. Having the confidence to, even if it's just something like an exercise or something, having the confidence, oh yeah, I can do that push-up now. Oh yeah, no, I can do that sit-up. Oh, I can do that kick now. That in itself is just, I don't even know the word, it's just priceless for that kid.
Yeah.
I have a few students with some physical limitations, and anytime they overcome any sort of challenge or they realize, I can do this, it brings me such joy when they realize they can do it, because they'll jump up and down that smile like, Mom, do you see me? I broke that board, or I did that kick, or look, I got that point for sparring, or that sort of thing. And when they realize they can, then maybe I can do this too. And it's not just in martial arts, it's their whole life, which I love. And that's what I try to tell them is that, guys, look, show your dedication, show you that you're respectful, not just here, but make sure it goes out through your whole life at school and at home. And I love saying this. I have a list of people that you should listen to, right? And I say there's me, there's teachers at school, and then there's parents. And I'm at the bottom of that list, okay? Because for parents, they have you for life. Teachers, they have you 5 days a week. I get you maybe 2-3 times a week, so I'm at the bottom of that list. When I ask, okay, who shows respect to sensei? Hands go up. Who shows more respect to sensei than their parents? Hands go up. I'm like, that's a problem. And it's, wait, what? I thought we were supposed to listen to you. Yes, you are, but you're supposed to listen to your parents more.
Oh, parents must love that. I'd be like, send them to more classes.
Tell them what they do at the end of class.
Oh, yes. Yeah. No, whenever we bow and we say thank you, sensei, and then we turn around, bow, say thank you, parents.
Oh,
They bow
that's
to their parents
so
every time and say thank you every
cute.
time.
And if I don't, the thing is, if they're too quiet, thank you, parents. Hey, that wasn't loud enough. Louder. Thank you, parents. I want to make sure they hear
That's
it.
so sweet.
Yeah.
That's really cute.
Yeah.
Do you have any stories of transformations that you've seen happen either with kids or adults that you've worked with, where they come in with some sort of limitation or issue that they're facing in martial arts training has helped them overcome that?
I'm actually going to use myself, if that's all right.
Of course.
I'm autistic. I have what used to be called Asperger's syndrome, okay? And the limitations that I had was weird things, like I was afraid of big spaces, I was afraid to try anything new for whatever reason, something specific. I couldn't wear black socks because it freaked me out for whatever reason. White socks were fine, black socks couldn't do it. It hurt me somehow, and I didn't understand why. And I was also in my own little bubble about myself. So I would only think of myself and not other people. And I was always angry because I felt like I wasn't understood. And through martial arts, when I was training, at first it was like, okay, yeah, no, I'm going to learn to beat somebody up, that sort of thing. No one's going to mess me ever again. And that was the wrong approach. My sensei told me this. And I was like, you need to be a leader. Yes, you are good at what you do here, but you cannot just use it to hurt people. That's not why we do it. It's character building. And when I understood that, that's when I started to become a teacher. And it wasn't just about me anymore. It was about, how can I help this person? Okay, now how can I help this person? And it's also the socializing, right? So it was really hard for me to have a conversation with people, even just keep eye contact, right? So being able to work with people, communicate with people. Hey, is that enough power? No, give me more. Okay, good. How's that? A little less? Okay, good. I was able to communicate with people, and I made friends through that, and that was hard to do as well. So that was a big thing for me, and it gave me the confidence to not just be a regular kid and pursue better things for my life, but it also gave me the courage to also, like I mentioned, I'm also an actor, be an actor. When you think of someone like me when I was growing up, you don't think martial arts teacher and actor. So when people see me, or I explain to a student, if they tell me like, oh, our child is autistic, I'm like, okay, I am too. Like, what?
Wow.
It's I always get a kick out of it because it's all up here. So
Yeah, such a way to connect to the kids and the parents. And thank you for sharing your story.
Of course.
And I would love to hear more about how you got into martial arts in the first place. Did you find it? Did your parents find it?
I had a very interesting upbringing. So my mother and father, I love them, and they're very two different people, right? So my mother, when I was growing up, was very much into educational television. Right? I think I mentioned this to you. Right? Okay, very much into educational television, ABCs. My father, I watched Rambo and Die Hard with him. So very different upbringings.
Yeah.
One day he showed me Bruce Lee Enter the Dragon. Now the thing is, I wasn't exactly a big guy at the time. So when you saw this smaller guy with smaller stature, Bruce Lee, doing all these amazing physical feats, I was like, that. And that's what got me started there. My parents, when they found out that I wanted to do this, they were excited that I wanted to do an activity because I didn't want to go to camp. I didn't want to go do things I wasn't used to. So when I wanted to do something, it was like, oh, okay, let's find something. And my dad was looking around. He found a place. But I was actually invited to a martial arts birthday party with a buddy of mine. And when I met my sensei and I saw the things that we did, I was like, I like this guy. He's loud and he's funny and he's a good time. And I stuck with him. And I remember my first day, he had me spar a green belt. And I was like,
How young were you?
I started when I was 9 years old.
Okay, that's young.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm going to fight a green belt? Why? Because I want you to overcome that fear, understand that we're training. Because my mom explained a little bit about me, right? And at first it was like, oh no, I'm getting hit. And he's like, listen, I want you to look at it this way. I want you to just go for it. What do you mean, go for it? I want you to throw something back. You haven't thrown a single thing. Just throw one back. And I did. And because I was taller than the kid, boom, got him right there. I was like, oh, and then I kept doing it. And he's like, okay, that's enough. We're good. Like, not full power. Remember, we're training. And that's when, again, I'm like, okay, not just about me. Okay, understood. So, that's how it all got started for me. And, dedicated my life to that for 16 years at that place. So, it was a good time.
That's incredible. And it's interesting because martial arts, it seems like very individual because you learn your own skills, you go at your own pace, but then it's also so group and community focused.
Yes.
But in a way that being on a traditional team isn't, because I would imagine for someone who's diagnosed with autism, joining like a baseball team or a football team probably feels really intimidating. It's like I have to keep up with everyone else or do these things, where this is interesting because you can go at your own pace, but you still have your group and your team around you.
It's like a support group more than a team.
Yeah.
Because you're really just trying to uplift each other constantly and making accommodations for each other constantly just for the better of everything.
Yeah. So are you only training with people who are in the same belt as you, or you said you were around a green belt, you can mix and match?
I like to mix it up. So some places they'll do like a beginner's class and an advanced class. I like to mix it up because it gives my higher ranks a chance to understand what it means to teach somebody else or take somebody under their wing. And that sort of responsibility gives them confidence. I want to make sure that I create leaders. I actually even have some students that are actually helping me teach now, and that's what my sensei did with me. And I've had them teach full classes and stuff like that, and they've done pretty well. When they first start, they're like, I don't know what to say. And then I'm like, not so easy from this side of the side. You got to be loud, you got to be engaging. Once they gain confidence and they're able to do it, again, it's just nice to see that, okay, that's what I say, that's what I do. It's like, Oh.
I love that.
Yeah.
So when does it go, like when someone starts classes,
Yes.
are they just learning more simple moves? I mean, you were sparring day one. Like when does it go from learning moves to like kicking people in the shins and faces and getting more intense?
So I would say it's very much an individual experience. It depends on, I've always said to my students, it depends on where you go, right? It depends on the instructor you have. There are good instructors, there are bad instructors. I feel like a bad instructor is just going to be 100% physical all the time. I feel like another version of not a great instructor is very much too lenient. Remember, martial arts is also about discipline, which is a big thing that I teach. And that's another reason why sometimes parents bring their kids in because, hey, he's not listening to us. Oh, we can fix that. A good balance is taking leniency with the discipline, somewhere in the middle. And I feel through my sensei, I've found a good middle ground, right? And when it comes to, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Could you repeat what you said?
Yeah, just when it goes from learning simple moves to
Okay,
we're
yes.
kicking and beating each other up now.
Yeah. So again, I'll have them do all the same moves together, but again, I'll have somebody like, listen, first day, so I want you to take it easy with them, okay? Let them understand it first. And I'll usually have my higher ranks do that, and they understand, okay, first time, so I can't go, boom, not all out. So that's usually what I do. Very good. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
Yeah.
For someone who's hesitant, maybe intimidated by the process of getting started with martial arts, what would you say to them?
Sometimes I'll say, here, listen, why don't you just watch for a minute, and then I'll call you back on, or I'll do it with you. Sometimes if a kid is really scared the first time round, and again, I'm not a small guy, I'm 6'2", so when I walk up, black belt and full uniform, like, hi, and I look down at them, like, oh, okay, sorry, am I too big? Here, what if I sit down? Is this better? Or what if I lie down? Is this better? You know, and just kind of have a little fun with them, make them laugh a little bit, understand that, yes, I might look intimidating, yes, I understand I'm a black belt, but I'm not going to hurt anybody. That's not what martial arts is about. It's about uplifting and building people up. And once they understand that I'm there to help them and I'm not here to scare them, that's step one, I feel. And if they're still having trouble, whether it's because it's a big group, I'll take their hand, be like, hey, do you want to take my hand? I got you. It's okay. Or I'll have the parent come on with them just to give them that confidence. Okay, listen, now mom's going to go sit down now, okay? You got this, all right? Now we can stand close to mom, but I want you to stay with me here, okay? And then we'll do it all together, and then they'll hit the pad and they'll gain that confidence. And yeah, that's what it is there.
One thing I would say also with the adults, because I can picture what you're saying, and I've even seen you do that with the kids.
Yes.
Excuse me, with the adults. It's interesting because the thing that I've seen is that they struggle to buy in to the idea that we want to do this here, so it's not happening to you the first time when your life is on the line. Mm-hmm. So helping them just buy into the idea that as we get started, light contact, like this, like that, but if it starts to feel uncomfortable, in the sense that it's challenging and it's new and we're training for something that's scary, that's actually a good thing, because we don't want that to be the first time you feel that to be when somebody's actually trying to hurt you in an uncontrolled environment.
Yeah.
So getting them to buy into that idea is important, because then they start realizing they have to flip maybe their expectations, that they were just going to get some fitness and punch some things, and they didn't realize they had to face significant feelings like stress and anxiety and panic and things like that might happen.
Yeah.
But then you realize that, that's kind of why we're here. We need to just slowly and systematically, again, mental health, kind of come across these feelings in a safe, supportive environment, which we really try to build for the lower ranks and everything, and get them to just buy into the fact that, if I just do this enough, I'm going to be familiar with this. So now I know if it ever does happen, my brain's going to come right back here and hear, our voice and come back to the training. And it's like getting them to just understand that little step is usually very pivotal, because then after that they get it and they're working on it and they want to build it up and everything like that. But they just have to usually cross that little bridge.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
One thing I'll add to that is when we also have beginner ranks first starting out, is that they'll look at someone like Dan as an example, right? Someone that's been with me for years, and sometimes they can be hard on themselves. I don't get it. I'm like, this is day one, okay? You're going to be fine, okay? I didn't look like this day one, trust me.
Right.
So understand that it's a process and everyone goes at their own pace. That can sometimes be intimidating as well. So just understanding that you're an individual and you just got to be the best version of yourself, and not better or as good as anybody else, just the best version of yourself. That is a big part of the journey, I feel, as well.
Just show up and try.
That's it. That's all I want.
Dan, as a student, how has the process of engaging in martial arts transformed you and maybe even your practice as a therapist?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about more of recently, where I was like, like you were saying, like some of my clinical training led me to kind of reflect on my younger years and be like, this is what happened. Now I know what he really was and how easy it is to read something one way when something else is going on inside you. So it definitely helped reflecting on it back then, but even just recently, I'm like, it helps me promote the idea that, your best is still yet to be seen and your best can get better. And it's okay to be optimistic. It's okay to push. It's okay to have bad days, learn and keep going and I don't always share like, oh, because I did this in martial arts or this is what I do. It's because it's, but it helps for me build confidence in the fact that, hopelessness is a myth. Helplessness is a myth. You really can't feel or be helpless because you can always just try. You can always change the way you're self-talking and having those thoughts and beliefs. You can always, just keep going and just get some more support. And that's been that for me because as an adult, like you were saying, it's hard because you have kids, you have a job, you have all these other things you're trying to achieve and get to a black belt. Can be difficult, but our clients say the same thing. They're saying, I have all these, my kids and my job and my stress and everything. I don't have time to cope. I don't have time to do self-care. I don't have time to do any of this. And I'm like, you know what? If it's possible for me and for a lot of other people, and I'm always convinced that it is possible. We just have to show up and commit. Just show up for yourself and commit. It doesn't take long. And so it obviously, like a lot of the skills have parallels to what we work on in martial arts. There's the direct parallels, exposure, self-talk. Like I said, your cognitions, like all this work is so overlapping. But at the same time, as a clinician, it helps me because I can see what change is possible. I can see what commitment can do. And I so want that for so many clients. And I'm like, we can do this. And it just helps me maybe like be that optimism for them in a way.
Yeah. And I think it's important because it makes them a better version of themselves. Like you said, it can make them a better parent because they can cope with that stress and the anxiety of parenthood better. It can make them a better spouse. It can make them better at their job. It's enhancing all the things that they already have, which I think is really important. And it sounds like finding the right sensei is really important because like you're saying, there's so many different styles and personalities and who trains which way. What are some like suggestions or tips you can give people who want to look, besides just working with you guys, but who want to find someone to work with? Like, how do you know, okay, this would be the right type of sensei for me, or maybe I should not stick at this place? What are some tips?
Excellent question. So as a parent, you got to see how your child reacts, like anything else, right? See how they react to the instructor and see how the instructor reacts to them, okay? Like recently I had a student come in who had a terrible experience with another place. And they came in and my coworker came to me and was like, hey, listen, they had a bad experience. They're really afraid. So if you could so I just went in calmly. And when I walked up, it's just the fear, and I always feel bad about that. Don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you, I promise. Okay? And then I get down, I get to their level, I'm like, what's your name? And I introduce myself. If you notice right away, that an instructor will not introduce themselves to set up those first steps of being able to come on the floor, I feel like that's red flag number one. Okay? Not even going to talk, and then your coworker just brings them up and be like, yeah, go have fun. You need someone that's going to engage with your kid. Okay? And how they react to a child making a mistake or not getting it perfect, because no one's perfect. But just understanding that they're doing their best. And also, if you do see a child that, like something that I see a lot, because I know my students, if you feel like they're not doing their best, it's okay to be like, I know you can do better than that. Come on now, because that way they're not being, not comfortable, but complacent is the word maybe? Or complacent. Yeah. That way they're not just going through the motion like, okay, since they said do this, I want to make sure they understand the intention of it. So make sure you patience, make sure you see the engagement, and see the growth. Like with my school, we do like 2 lessons to see if a child really likes it. If they do, great, they sign up. Okay. If it's not for them, it's okay. I understand the martial arts isn't for everybody, and I'm not trying to force anybody to sign up. Oh no, you must be no. That's another thing. If someone keeps trying to push, like my child said, no, we're good. That's another red flag for me when they're constantly like, come on.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, understood. It's okay. So those are some things that I look at. What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that was a big part of my journey to start this time around, is that I knew what I wanted and what I was looking for, and in my opinion, the discipline that you're looking to practice is important. You wanted to make sure it aligns with what you're trying to do and everything like that. But even more important in my eyes is the instructor, the teacher, the sensei. I have to find someone who is going to fit, like you were saying. So I was looking around, and people who were like my way or the highway. No, that's not. Martial arts is an art. It's not my way or the highway. And people who aren't able to do what they teach themselves. They've gotten to a point in their lives where they just aren't able to do the things that they're teaching other people to do. So I'm like, okay, these things, but I did find Sensei John, and I was like, the idea that you would look at techniques and be like, I want to do what works. So we are going to figure out what works, and we are going to have a conversation. We're going to work it out. And honestly, sometimes we're like two kids on a playground because we love it so much. But
That's how you want it to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what I was really looking for, is someone who wasn't so rigid and saying this is the only right way, and saying, no, let's figure it out. This is a bunch of situations we need to learn. And that was clear from the beginning. So I was like, okay, this is where I'm going. And also the curriculum, it's the mixed martial arts, and it's practical self-defense oriented, not style, not tradition, not anything like that. It's practical self-defense, and that's what I wanted more than anything, is like the ability to immediately translate these skills into a horrible situation if it should happen. I don't want to do the flashy kicks. I don't want to do the, nothing against tradition, but like the kata and stuff like that. I have nothing against it. I used to do it all the time.
Same.
But I loved the idea of practicality and utility, and we had that in spades, so it was an easy choice.
Piggybacking off that, the way that I view martial arts is everyone develops their own style in their own way, because no two people are exactly the same. The way that I kick might not work for somebody, okay? Maybe the way I punch might not work for somebody. So I want to make sure we find a way that works for them. That's another big thing for me, is that I understand that I've done this for a long time. There are certain things that I can do that some people can't. And I'm not going to be like, you must do it this way. And if they can't do it, what's the point? You know what I mean? Or if they're having a hard time with it and it's not working, when it's damaging their confidence or it's damaging their process, why would I do that?
Yep.
We try to work a way around, see what does work for them, okay? Now, there are some things that I'll be stern about, like as an example, how to throw a punch for using the first two knuckles. That way you don't hurt yourself, so I'll be tough about that. But I don't expect you to punch like me or punch like, someone else that's been doing this for many years. But I want you to put in the effort and just use the best of your ability, the technique that I show. Once you have the basic technique, then we can see how we can improve it from there. But yeah.
Yeah.
Great. All right. We have a little exercise that we'd love to do. Cass, do you want to?
The rapid fire
The
questions?
rapid fire questions.
Okay.
All right.
Speed round.
So are we asking them together, or are we doing one and then the other?
Why don't we go back and forth?
Why don't we ask together and you guys just yell at the
Okay,
answers?
Do we need a buzzer?
We'll skip this one. We'll do these three. Okay. So try to respond in as little words as possible and just respond together. We'll see
We'll try one
how the
word
answers
then.
come through.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll try.
Okay, try one word.
Hardest belt to earn. I thought that was going to be an easy
No,
one.
that's not an easy one. Wow.
I'll say purple.
Purple?
I'll say purple.
Okay. I would say white.
Oh, just to get started.
I was thinking of that. Right.
I would say white.
Just to walk in.
Just to walk in.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. The least amount of people are getting that one.
Yeah.
What,
I was
what-
saying-
what made you say purple, Dan?
I said purple because, if folks do get to the walk-in point, purple is where they start to be like, okay, I got to make a decision. Am I in this or am I
Yeah.
done? And usually if you go past purple, like you can justify keep going and going
gonna
to the
keep
black and
going.
stuff like that. But
Yeah.
like, purple's that stage from I'm a beginner to I'm an intermediate. Now,
Okay.
am I going to take this all the way?
Yeah, that's interesting because I think most people would just automatically respond
They're
with
like,
black.
oh, black.
Right?
I guess you're getting that far. Yeah.
Yeah, but by that point, you're about it, and it makes
Pretty committed.
sense. So
Yeah.
I'm getting my black belt next year, and this year's I'm just looking forward to it.
Oh, that's so exciting.
That's awesome.
All right.
He's excited now. Wait till he finds out what he's got to do.
Yeah. All right. One word to describe your training.
Repetitive.
You have to be nice when your sensei's next to you.
No, I know. I'm thinking
like
on a
terrible.
personal sense, what was it to me? It's defining, I would say,
Oh.
because I want to be a
love
lifelong
that.
martial artist, and I was out of it for a long time, and now that I'm in it, and I love how I'm in it. I just want to do it forever. I want to
I
be that
love that.
old guy who's like still punching boards.
Yes, you should be. You should be. All right. Biggest mental block people have to overcome.
Fear.
Fear, lack of confidence. That's what I'd say.
Okay. Favorite martial arts movie cliche that's actually true.
Ooh.
Mr. Miyagi's passivity. I would
Yeah.
say, yeah. I would say that was, again, you can't have a martial arts movie without eventually fighting. But the idea of Mr. Miyagi was always like, turn the other cheek. It's not worth it. Like, again, fighting is stupid.
Yeah.
This whole idea of like, okay, but it's not going to be a movie if you don't throw some punches. But,
Of course, have to.
yeah, that idea I was always like, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'd have to agree with him. I do love the Karate Kid. I do. The original. Nothing against Jaden Smith, but I do love the
Right.
original.
Yeah. Did that inspire you guys when you were younger? That we were really
Yeah.
young when that came out.
I'm not shy about it. I was like, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and I'm like, Karate Kid, Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers.
Yeah.
It was everywhere. It was such a cultural thing. It was such a cultural thing.
Did
But
they actually do karate in Power Rangers?
The original they did. That's
They
when the Green
did.
Ranger came in. He was.
I'm
he
trying to
was a martial
remember
artist, yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I loved Tommy Oliver. Jason David Franco. Right?
Jason David Frank. Yeah.
Yeah, Jason David Frank. May he rest in peace.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got me into it. And again, like I was saying, it just made so much sense. It was a beautiful thing that made so much sense. And it clicked so
Yeah.
many ways. You can use it in the real world. It's fitness. It's fun. It's cool. Like it's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so much better than lifting weights or running track or doing this. It's in my
More
opinion.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you use it. Like you're in a fight, you can't use track unless
You can run away,
You
yeah.
can always run away, but if you're in a fight, you might have endurance and stuff like that. But I'm like, oh, I love the idea of the multi-tool type of fitness.
Yeah.
That's what martial arts was, and I've loved it all the way.
All right. How do you disarm someone sitting right here in the podcast seat? Is there a move you do to like?
Hey, these
They
mics
have-
could act as a.
They have a
as
knife and
weapon
it's
here,
coming right under the microphone.
So again, it's very situational. All right. If it were that,
I would use these.
Yeah, no. Use those. You use your environment, right? So you push these in the way. Then you get to a comfortable position where you can defend yourself and see how they come at you.
Oh, so you wouldn't sit just behind the mic and fight them?
No, I would use the environment.
You got to meet them, yeah. And honestly, I would obviously block whatever weapon there was, but like you always say, if there's a weapon involved, you just have to come to peace with the fact that you're about to get hurt.
Oh,
You have to come to peace
oh,
with
that's
that.
that mental piece.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
I will say, to be specific, when it comes to training with knives, okay, obviously we don't use.
You're always going to get cut.
Yes,
That's what my
absolutely right.
sensei would tell me.
Yes, you're absolutely right. No
You
matter
have to
how
come
you
to
can
peace
do
with
it
it, but you have to go
perfectly.
home alive. That's the
Exactly.
thing.
I care. I don't. I understand you might get hurt, but I want you to go home. Exactly. So we're always going to get cut when it comes to a knife. But yeah.
Oh
When
man.
you train, I would again block the knife, but I would just start throwing as much combatives at their face as possible, at their neck, sensitive points, because when somebody typically attacks, 99% of the time they're not expecting a fight. They're expecting a victim. So as soon as you start, if they try and they realize you're not a victim, you're a fighter, and they're getting hurt, they will stop what they're
Wow,
doing.
I
They'll
didn't know
abandon it.
that.
Yeah.
The other thing is when it comes to a knife, to be again specific, make sure you have that under control first. 'Cause,
control the weapon,
You know
right.
exactly. Because
Exactly.
again, punches can be thrown at you. That's not serious. The knife is the serious part. Okay. So if we're being specific, again, someone comes for here, what we would do is yes, thank you. We would push against the shoulder and push away from the arm. That way, they also can't advance on you.
They can't
Pressing against the
rotate.
shoulder, they can't rotate or continue to slice. Then we would grab onto the back of the tricep. Loop our way up and to the back. Throw some combatives. Sorry, I touched your mic. Throw some combatives to the back of the head. All right, and then try to get the knife away from them. From
Wow.
behind. Yeah.
And in an ideal case, that's what it looks like.
That's
But
ideal. Right?
Yeah.
It never turns out that way. The
Of
first time,
course,
right?
of course.
But yeah.
I'm never gonna look at these mics the same now. I'm gonna be ready for action.
Oh yeah, just poke right in the eye. right
yeah.
there.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, we're ready.
So if somebody wants to learn how to disarm
that.
someone with a knife, where do they find you, Sensei John?
We are at Premier Martial Arts in Denville. We're on Route 10 in the Denville Commons. And yeah, come on in. Love to have you.
Yeah, this has been so much fun,
It
you
is.
guys.
We love
Thank you
talking
for
about
having
it.
us. Thank you. Thank you.
We're at time already.
Yeah, we're out of time. Yeah.
Brandon always has to wrap it up because I'll talk for 7 hours and have no concept
will
of what
talk about
time
this.
it
He
is.
knows.
We talk.
Yeah, we
I
talk
talk
all
too
the
much
time.
sometimes.
Yeah, he always lands the plane because I'm like, oh, are we done already?
Should have a little like light that goes up somewhere.
I know, like we have to
Like
have
for
like a
hype, like,
clock.
we
gotta get a
somewhere.
clock somewhere,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can never tell.
The red light for comedians that come
Yeah.
on in the back. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
they gotta wrap up.
Oh, this is so fun,
Great
guys.
combo, yeah.
It's
Cool.
fun. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, thank you.